In light of the behemoth that is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition being released here lately by Monolith Soft, I kind of wanted to just roll over, talk about the uniqueness and the strengths that is Monolith Soft and what we are going to be getting ahead in the future in regards to this game, in regards to this company, and the type of thought process that they have lined up in it for all of us to keep on eating. But first, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. So as of the 20th, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition has released by Monolith Soft, and I wanted to talk about their company brochure that they have for 2025 and kind of their mindset that they're thinking of here and what we're expecting here for this company. For those who are not aware, Monolith Soft is the subsidiary of Nintendo that handles Xenoblade Chronicles games. And also you may be familiar with, well, you may not be familiar with their heavy involvement in the Breath of the Wild and extreme involvement in Tears of the Kingdom games. If you played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, you might notice some very strong similarities there, especially with a certain system that hands out capsules. Boop, 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 boop. Gotcha, machine. Boop, gotcha. At any rate, I wanted to dive into here because in the company brochure in 2025 that they have here, as you can see here, the company brochure, they kind of go over just, what Monolith Soft is. And I really want to kind of dive into this because this lets y'all know what we are going to be expecting. This lets y'all know why Monolith Soft has been so good. This lets y'all know why everything that they put out, we just seem to love. Monolith Soft right now is probably one of my favorite studios, quite frankly. And I think Xenoblade Chronicles in itself has probably been my favorite JRPG series since its release back in the early 2010s. Well, it came out in like 2011, 22, 20, something like it came out because it took 2 years. Operation Rainfall. Yes, you're welcome. I was a part of Operation Rainfall for all those people over in North America. You know what I'm saying? They weren't going to release it here for those who don't know Operation Rainfall. Operation Rainfall, Xenoblade Chronicles was never going to get released in North America. They had zero intention of doing so. Zero intention of doing so. It was not going to get released. That, the last story, and Pandemonium Warden. As you can see here, we have the last story sitting right here, the collector's edition with the box and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we was in it. We was in it. We are. I ain't kidding. I have to give you all a history lesson. But nonetheless, they weren't going to release Xenoblade Chronicles and those other two games in the West. Like they thought that all those JRPGs. No one wants to play JRPGs in the West. No one wants to play those. So why would they want to play those? Why would they want to play those? But there was a large, strong action. All of us got together, and we really went heavy on online, doing petitions, just making all sorts of noise, videos, so to get them to hear us, to let them know that no, there is a market for this in North America. We want these JRPGs, and here we go. Here we are. They finally released it. All three of those games, took them about 2 years, I think, from the initial release date in Japan for Xenoblade Chronicles, but we got it. And then the rest is history. Here we are now. Here we are now. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. It's Operation Rainfall. That's not what we're talking about. Either way, Monolith Soft is probably my favorite, one of my favorite companies for sure. Development companies, gaming companies for sure right now. And Xenoblade Chronicles is probably my favorite JRPG series right now. I'm a big Final Fantasy guy as well. But let's be honest too, Final Fantasy, yeah. About Final Fantasy, y'all kind of, been off for like the past decade, bro. Let's be completely honest, bro. They need to go back to their roots, bro. Just go back to turn-based. I know they probably never will. Or just do, bro, let's just start it over. Cook it over. Cook it because y'all are doing too much. At any rate, down here below, there is a interview here with the representative director of Monolith Soft. Let me say the proper title. Representative Director and CEO. Hirohide. So there's an interview here where he kind of discusses some things. And namely here, I can zoom that in too, so y'all can see that a bit better. But I mean, not that y'all can read it. But but in this interview, he kind of discusses the introduction of Monolith Soft, kind of, and where they kind of focus, what type of people that they are looking for. If you're trying to get hired there, this is the brochure. So they kind of, but it outlines a mindset of Monolith Soft, and that's the big thing here. And like the main two ones here that I really want to kind of highlight here were these top two segments, and then this bottom segment down here, in which we'll start up here where he's pretty much just talking about how he met Tetsuya. Tetsuya is also the other, as you see here, the other guy here, the other there he goes, Tetsuya. Takahashi is also the other guy here. Remember, these people worked on Final Fantasy, as you can see here, Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy VI, and Chrono Trigger. Now you understand why Monolith Soft is so renowned. Now you understand, because these people worked on the OGs of JRPGs, the legendaries. Now you understand why I have so much love and appreciation for Monolith Soft. Quite frankly, I'm a big JRPG guy. Always have been, always will be, always still be, always till T, still C, T, anyways. But Hirohide says here, and the question here was, what was the reason and background for establishing the company? And he responded, the influence of Tetsuya Takahashi, whom I met while working at Square, which is now Square Enix, was a big factor. My desire to see more of the world he was creating and to create games with my friends and release them to the world grew stronger. So with the support of Namco, now Bandai Namco, he founded Monolith Soft. Of course, we all know that that's now history because obviously they're not with Bandai Namco. They are a subsidiary of Nintendo and have been for quite some time now. They were originally I think Nintendo had an 80% on them or something like that for a really long time. But now they're 100% a Nintendo subsidiary, so they're completely. But obviously they started, when it first got founded, it was through the support of Bandai. But we're never going to talk about Bandai because I'm still kind of bent over them demolishing Blue Protocol. Ugh. Anyways, and then secondly here, they just kind of ask where Monolith Soft's strengths, and pretty much they're just saying the work environment. He kind of goes over some of the benefits of working there, and having leave and just kind of the work culture. But pretty much just saying that's one of the biggest benefits of being there is the environment, which obviously we all know that the work environment is very important for any and all companies, especially successful ones, and especially ones that are producing things like they're producing and having the love and the passion to bring that and put that into every product that comes out. And then lastly, the most important thing that I really wanted to highlight here was this one down here at the very bottom right here. As you can see, let's kind of scoot that over, scoot. As you can see right here. And so in this one, they ask, please tell us about your futures, your future goals, your future dreams, your future outlook on Monolith Soft and what is ahead. And we love this response because he responds, since our founding in 1999, the number of staff has increased significantly. We now have 3 development bases and have worked on a number of major titles. However, I don't think I have yet gained a sense of satisfaction in the sense that I have succeeded or achieved anything. As long as Monolith Soft continues to exist, I will never be satisfied with the status quo and will continue to strive for even higher quality. Now, I love this freaking response because, look, I'm the type of person who very much lives by the mindset of once you become complacent, you become weak. That I don't know where I came up with that. I'm not sure if I heard that somewhere, but that line is always kind of stuck. Pretty sure I came up with that. I don't think I heard that somewhere. But once you become complacent, you become weak. And this is that mentality where you're always striving to achieve. You never feel like you're here and then there's nothing more. No, there's always something more. There's always another way that you can strive and achieve. And this type of mindset is why we get things like Xenoblade. This type of mindset is the exact reason why Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the most legendary JRPG series that we have ever seen. It is so well executed, with the exception that for some reason, those games tend to have issues with the audio mixing. They always really kind of weird in that regard. Where it will sound perfect, if you're playing it on something else, But then, for sometimes, if you're playing with lower quality headphones, it doesn't sound as good. Or if you're playing with higher quality, it's weird. Sometimes it sounds perfect. Some other times it's just that's one. But beyond that, beyond the audio mixing, sometimes in those games, Perfectly fine. That's why we get this quality that we get, because the execution of the game, the story, how all of these games are different and they're so well thought together. Honestly speaking, very seldomly do we get a game, an RPG and stuff like that where you can kind of not predict what's going to happen. The thing about Xenoblade games is that they do such a good job. They just slap you dead in the face. Like when you're playing a Xenoblade Chronicles game, you think you know exactly what's going to happen. You're like, oh, I know exactly. This is going to happen. This person's going to appear. This is going to happen. Oh, I can tell this is going this direction. And then boom, pop, right in the face. Like Emerald Lagasse, bam, right in the face. Curveball, twists, turns. That's what all those games do. They do it, and they do a great job at executing this. An absolutely great job at executing this. But that's the thing about Monolith Soft, is that they keep producing these great games. And if you want to scroll down here as well, you will also see a timeline. I thought this is pretty cool as well. They show a full timeline of the company here. I can actually zoom further out for that because that's pretty long there. They show a full timeline here of the company. So starting from 1999, it dates everything coming up to 2025. So this is obviously 1999 is the foundation of the company here. As you can see, it's the foundation of the company. And as you keep going down, there's certain key points within the life of the company. So I thought this is pretty neat to see too. And of course, this will be linked below as well. So if you want to check this out, then you can. So it will be linked in the description, so we can get a glance at it. Then the rest of this stuff is pretty much just just highlighting the workplace stuff, the designers, the programmers, all the stuff of the likes down here. So it gives you a little bit of insight to the company and to kind of how things are run and kind of how things are managed within the company. So like I said, if you want to look at this will be linked in the description directly, so you can look at it if you want to give it a look over, so that you can have fun with it, have a better understanding of it. But the key thing to take away from this is that Monolith Soft is here to produce legendary stuff, as seen right here. They are always striving for more and never satisfied with the status quo. That is real talk right there, and that's why we get things like the Xenoblade Chronicles series. That's why we get Tears of the Kingdom. That's why we get Breath of the Wild. These are all revolutionary games. And Monolith Soft is at the key center of it all. So I gotta show some love. Had to show them some applause because I love what they're doing and I appreciate the love that they have brought to the gaming sphere. Quite frankly, the Xenoblade Chronicles games have changed my life since I first stepped into that world over a decade ago, back when it released, I think in 2012 in North America. So I think it came out in 2010 in Japan. Remember, it said it took 2 years because Operation Rainfall, I think it came out in 2011 in Europe. So it took 2 years to get to North America. But Xenoblade Chronicles games really, really hit and resonate with me to a level that goes deep and powerful and strong. Not only from the stories, from the character designs, from the character progression, to the music, to the worlds, the environments. Everything is just so molded together properly and beautifully. And then how all the stories interlink. It's just chef's kiss. But nonetheless, let me get out of here. Got things to do. Just wanted to drop this in here for y'all. So thought it'd be interesting for y'all to hear, especially a lot of y'all maybe being introduced to the franchise with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which is now out. So I thought this might be interesting for y'all to see, for y'all to hear, so that we get a little better understanding of the company and kind of what they've entailed, what they've brought to the table, and what they are going to continue to bring to the table in the new era. Probably gonna have some stuff on Switch too. That should be interesting. Well, I know probably they will. That will be interesting, so definitely looking forward to that. At any rate, be sure to like and subscribe, y'all. It helps out tremendously. Mwah. Thank you. Be sure to comment down below as well, too. Let me know what your experiences have been. Let me know what you think of Monolith Soft. If you're new to the franchise, you just started playing X Definitive Edition, let me know what your experience is. Let me know if you enjoy the story, the music for any of these games. Just let me know. I just love to have a good discussion. So let me know, comment down below. Let me know all the details of what your inner workings are. So at any rate, I'll see you in the next one. Holla.
Spikesu content.